Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in game number 1 for our other round of 8 match. We have spawning up here on the top left-hand corner of the map, the blue Terran player representing Team Africa Freaks. Give it up for KeeN.
In the top right as the red Zerg, he is Hydra. You know, it's been a long time since Hydra was on a Pro League team, but I'm still so surprised how easily I forget that he was one of, like, the Koreans,
Yeah.
you know? Like, he was super good on CJ Enzus, and he was so just, like, unapproachable because he played Broodor for so long, and you just never thought he'd be able to talk to him, and now he has, like, the best English, I think, certainly written English. I haven't, like, talked to him in real life, but, and he's just super chill. Like, he's
Dude,
actually
I
a really
love
cool
Hydra.
guy.
Yeah, he's actually really cool, and I think you were mentioning, yeah, like just written English, like he's actually a lot of fun to just like talk with on Skype and stuff, and like hang around with. I get to occasionally talk to him. I don't get to like be super duper chill or buddy with him and everything, but I get to pay him out. I'm like, tossing a few jokes here and there, and I'm like, here are the subtler English jokes. And he's like, yeah, I get that. Boom. It's
yeah, yeah. I guess I don't know how to explain to people that don't talk to people that I guess like English is their first language, but I feel like everyone has, right?
Yeah.
On the internet, a lot of people exist on the internet, but just when they get like English jokes, and you're just like, ha, puns. That's pretty impressive for me. That's also something that Solar can do, which I thought is even more impressive because Solar, he's never actually lived in America, I don't think. He just watches a lot of television.
Yeah, I remember in his first like interview, people were just like, what? I thought he was Korean. Like, is he American?
Yeah, like,
what's going on?
He's such a good accent too.
Yeah.
I guess poor KeeN, though, as we are casting KeeN versus Hydra, is not one of those guys. We're kind of neglecting him for right now.
He's going to be the underdog in more ways than one. Obviously, we're like giving a lot of attention to Hydra, but again, I know it seems like a small thing, and of course, some of these matches go all the way back to 2014 or 2015, everything, which is a long time ago. But even recently, the past 2 months, Hydra being able to 2-0 and 2-1 KeeN, and just the fact that KeeN has never taken more than one map off of Hydra in a competitive series, it does say a lot. And I think players tend to like keep track of a lot of these things. They are fairly aware of like the players that they tend to beat and the players that they almost never beat.
Oh yeah, definitely. Talking to pro gamers, they always like mention like, oh, I always beat him on ladder, or like, oh, I always beat him in like pro tournaments and stuff like that. When is their most recent best of?
It was best of 3 in 2014. And I think it was in April.
That was the most recent one?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, that was a long time ago. I thought that was like, one of the older ones. All right, well, that's interesting then. I guess they just haven't met each other, despite Hydra's insistence on playing every single online tournament for like a month, despite KeeN showing up to a lot of tournaments for some time now, along with a couple other Koreans. They just never crossed paths, which is pretty interesting. But KeeN is I think they're both in different situations than they were in 2014. So
sorry.
I much better than that.
When I said last time they faced, I think I said 2014. I mean 2016 of this year, like April of 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say like.
I was like, 2-3 months ago. That was a little while.
2 years.
Yeah, I was like 2-3 months ago. That was a little while ago. But Hellions are gonna come in. They do scout out the lair time, and they see that there are going to be spore callers down, which is actually going to be kind of important since the Banshee follow-up is there. Did make one Banshee, but he did cancel Cloak. He had that researching initially.
Yeah, I really like that he did, by the way. Okay, so if it was like 2 or 3 months ago, then sure, I'm going to give Hydra this win, absolutely. But anyway, KeeN's been kind of on the up and up in the last 2 months, especially against Zerg, rather. There's been a couple of matches we were like, oh, he's going to get stomped, and he actually performed pretty well. Trying to replace Bjorn, I think is what I've been saying, but not quite living up to the hype yet. But definitely like the choice to cancel the Cloak. If they're already that prepared, then it's not going to be worthwhile, and just delaying your stim and upgrades for really not a very good reason.
Yeah, Overseer is also going to be able to spot out this Banshee and give his Queens a little bit more time to get into position. Only 2 drones over here at this third, and this Banshee is getting fairly low on health fairly quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely don't want to lose that because that's going to be very useful for the defense. Now, Hydra's not going for roaches early on, which is obviously where the Banshee has the best defense against, but if it lives past this Muta, the Spire, and can help when the roach transition comes down, it's a lot of extra damage.
That Overseer is going to be keeping an eye on that Banshee very, very closely. That Banshee might actually have to just retreat all the way back home to make sure that it doesn't just get immediately picked off by the Mutalisk.
Yeah, it's going to have to go all the way back home. Love the vision that Hydra has right now. So, of course, the Overseer running around, but also the Zanagas are taken, Lings are spread around the map, another Overseer is already waiting actually on the other side of the map, too. Creep spread is getting a little out of control already just because the Hellions weren't there and the Banshee wasn't there. So that's, I think, the main job of this drop right now, is just to get the clear creep push back a little bit.
Yeah. KeeN does unload his medevacs over at the Xel'Naga Watchtower. I was going to say, he was actually really close to be able to make it all the way over to Hydra's main base if he decided to go for a drop without actually getting scouted at all. But, well, Mutalisks are going to be kind of out of position to deal with the Marines. And, in fact, these Marines may end up pulling those Mutalisks back to deal with the medevacs.
Ooh. Yeah, if KeeN blitzed right now onto Creep, he would get probably kill the Queens, probably kill whatever Lings Hydra had, and continue to roll over and maybe get something really done. But he's missing that very specific timing. Now we have more roaches on the way, and he didn't really need to pick up. I wonder why he picked up.
Yeah, I mean, there were no Banelings over there, so he was going to at least trade efficiently and effectively. Maybe a little bit concerned about the Queen starting to get some damage done on the medevacs. But
yeah,
still,
so.
Mutalisks are forced back, and that in and of itself is a little bit of a win.
Yeah, but that wasn't... For what he could have gotten, that was not at all, like, that was barely anything. And he really should have gotten either a cancel on the 4th base if he blitzed hard enough, or, as I said, some of that creep. Now, with everything combined, he actually will lose this drop. He's focus hiring the Mutas, though, which is a great choice. Stops for a second, maybe could have killed another one, but gets 2 still.
Yeah, 4 Mutalisks left over, and I think that they are probably going to be able to get this medevac as well, but, hey, you know, that Banshee is still alive. It got repaired back up, so maybe if a couple more Mutalisks die, he can use that Banshee.
I'm telling you, man. At this point, the Banshee, like, when the armies are maxed out, like, no, the Banshee's not really going to help very much. But if, for instance, if there's, like,
Infestors out.
Yeah, if there's a partition of roaches, and maybe those are, going to clean that up. Yeah, Infestor's already on the way out. Hive as well. I mean, we're seeing a lot of course, early Hive and whatnot, but the choice to get Mutas is a little interesting. There are, I guess, more dangerous ways to play, but still, like, are being used widely, of course, like by Nurture and whatnot, where you don't go for Spire at all. And sure, you might have some trouble against drops, but usually, like, good focus fire is enough. But now Hydra can actually guaranteed clean up drops as they leave.
Yeah. Well, KeeN is going to be making his push across the map, but he's going to be walking right around the time that some of those Infestors are popping out. The Infestors do not have enough energy for fungal growth, though, so they're going to be sitting back. Corrosive Biles getting a little bit scary over here, and KeeN eating a couple of them.
Yeah, some. That was actually really scary. The Hellbat's kind of useless, but, I mean, they're taking some a little bit.
Oh,
he's running into
ready.
Infestors. He's got to be careful. Yeah, there you go. Misses one.
Good dodge.
Yeah, this is not, of course, something that if either one of them lost these armies, it wouldn't be game over, but KeeN does want to keep this alive for drops later on, and especially doesn't want to lose the medevacs. I think that would be the worst part if they got Fungal Curse with Bile comboed on, is just losing so many medevacs, especially since if he knew how quick the Hive was, and the Ultra Scav was already in the way, he'd probably want to start investing into more gas-heavy things, like more tanks or more Liberators.
That's the thing, though. He scanned the Hive almost like 10-15 seconds after it got started, so he knows that the Ultralisk, or the Hive is finished up. He should know that the Ultralisk Cavern is bound to be on the way by now, and the Ultralisk Cavern is going to be finishing up pretty soon, so I'm actually starting to wonder, like, what is KeeN's late-game game plan?
Well, the second factory is something that I really like, but unfortunately is not a true answer to Ultralisk. I really wish it was. I think tanks are much more interesting than, Liberators getting sieged up or even Ghosts, to be honest, because Ghosts just never... If Ghosts do get in the count of 10 to 15, they're actually super damn good, but it just seems to never happen. Tanks, they can take care of not only the Ultras, but also Ling Floods or Banelings rolling in, which is a lot of the problem with Ultra compositions, is that there's everything else with the Ultras,
Yeah, look, we do have the Mutalisks doing a little bit of harassment or trying to take out the missile turret in the top left, but on the other side of the map, that one Banshee is slowly killing the 5th expansion. We do have a big push out through the map, but the big Zergling run by also over at the 3rd expansion completely shuts down all mining over there, kills off 7 workers. The Ultralists are out, and just madness is happening everywhere right now.
Plating's not done. If KeeN had any sort of choke going in his favor or ramp, he could actually focus fire these ultras. He's not.
I think he's a little bit afraid. He's afraid even if there is, you know, no chitinous plating, that Ultras is still going to cleave his way through and do a ton of damage if he gets fungal growth. So I think he's a bit cautious about it. But I mean, he like basically bought him time for chitinous plating to finish up. The trade-off there is he loses his 5th expansion.
8 more Ultras is insane.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to have plating. And +2, so they're going to have quite a lot of armor. And KeeN, well, KeeN could probably stabilize. He didn't take game-ending damage from that lane counterattack, even though it looked really scary.
Well, I mean, Hydra's just going to get a scarier and scarier army, and this is what I'm really interested in, because I'm not going to lie, I have not had a lot of time to watch many of like the big TVZs or the Korean stuff that's happening, but Terrans have been sort of dominating, I think, a lot of the Zerg players, as opposed to where we usually see, where Zerg players are kind of dominating the Terran players in the foreign scene. So what is KeeN going to be up to? What does KeeN have planned to deal with this big Ultralist play?
Well, unfortunately, it seems that the Koreans are only dominating because their mid game is so strong. And as we can see here, KeeN's mid game is not very strong at all. Yeah. So it's going to look a lot like that Foreigner battle.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Ultras roll in, Bio dies.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, if you're a big Hydra fan, he is definitely storming on through. The Ultralists charging over to the 3rd expansion, catching a stray siege tank that pops out. But I mean, Hydra can just split up his army and chase his army back for KeeN. KeeN's got a micro on so many different fronts to actually make this worth his while.
Yeah. You know, unfortunately, never able to get up to a really high tank count. You know, it's really got to be like 10+ tanks to be very scary. And they also got to be in a decent position. You know, like not out in the middle of a map with a concave around them. Ah, well. That's first game going to Hydra.
Yeah. Pretty solid game number 1 for Hydra. I mean, does a relatively fast tech up to Hive Tech. And KeeN just didn't. I don't know, like that was the other interesting thing, and I mentioned this, like he scanned almost immediately as soon as Hive Tech started up. So do you feel like there was like that missed opportunity of KeeN saying like, okay, I gotta do something right now, I gotta take advantage of the whole big mid-game push? Or do you feel like that wasn't really in the cards based on like where he was at the time?
Yeah, I think the latter is more appropriate. Like his early aggression, like those first 2 drops didn't do very much. And then that kind of steamrolled into just more not doing very much. As the crew was out of control, the Ravager count, I guess, was just too big. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't bode well, I suppose, for KeeN. But Invader's a very large map, and he actually chooses Arena as his second map. So that change, you know, the dynamic change, just like how fast his aggression will hit, could favor KeeN.
Yeah, interesting to see how this is gonna go. Arena's the map that I forget is in the map pool because I see it so infrequently now. Like it's at the point where I see Invader like substantially more than I see in Arena ever.
I think Arena is such a more fun map.
Actually
it got a lot of shit, but
when Arena came out, I used to like I was one of the first people to say like Arena is my favorite map to watch pro games on. It may not be my favorite map to play, but I love watching games on this map because it leads to such cool and interesting games.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, we're heading into it. We'll see you guys in game number 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in game number 2 as we spawn up here in the top left-hand corner of the map. The red Terran player gotta look for some way to win his first series versus his opponent. Give it up for Africa Freaks, KeeN.
The bottom left as the blue Zerg, it is Root Hydra.
Five and 0 is pretty damn good. Like, I know, again, it's like over the course of a couple of years and everything, but that's still like a pretty nice record to have versus someone.
Yeah, I think that's something you look at and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna win again.
Yeah.
But it's also a case where Hydra just is used to winning in general. I think whenever he participates in these cups, he's almost always at the semifinals.
Yeah.
And almost always in the finals. So the other contenders still left in the tournament, of course, we have this going on. The winner of this will face Bly, as I predicted, in the semifinals. The other semifinals will be Mana versus the winner of Alive or Snoot. I would give that to Alive, but we really, like, it's too bad, actually. So I think what really wanted to happen with Rifkin is that we wanted to have more of these casts available for you, these games.
Yeah.
Because occasionally you get to the round of 8 and there's actually, like, too many good games to hold, right? But if we had another, stream going up, then you guys would get more and it might be worth it. But unfortunately, that test didn't end up working out today. Maybe at a later date. But we would have had the perfect opportunity with, like, Terran, Zerg, Korean, Foreigner of, like, what is actually better, right? Like, so is Alive's mid-game pushes going to be stronger than Snoot's, like, Foreigner Zerg style? Or are we really going to get the answer that it's just Koreans are good, Foreigners aren't? Which is what everyone seems to be, always falling back to.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate his internet couldn't really hold out, or whatever it was, if it was like the EA Twitch servers or what have you. But taking a look at this game, Arena, again, we were talking about how this is sort of one of the weirder maps. It's a map that I think both of us really like the way that games end up playing out on it, even if the players don't. But, I mean, what do we generally see in ZvT these days? Just because I don't see this map that often anymore, I'm actually not sure if my, like, version of the meta on this map is outdated.
No, probably not. It really has been consistent in all the matchups. So in ZvZ, you have like one early pool versus someone going for gasless, or they both go for gasless, and just the way it plays out. In ZvT, you usually do see either early Roach Ravager, or if they actually decide to macro, they go into Spire then Roaches, and the Terran tries to do a tank push. As of late, I think we've been seeing a couple more third CCs in actual macro games that just let each other get to the third base. But I still think far more often we have the aggressive arena like it's always been.
Definitely makes a lot of sense. Widowmine is going to be also scaring away these Zerglings. Whenever I see a Widowmine early on versus like a handful of Zerglings, I always just think like just gun the Zerglings down on top of like some of the Marines. You're going to probably kill more Marines than they kill Zerglings.
Thanks to Crank for the host.
Hey, thank you, Crank.
Fun co-op. Yay.
Man, I've actually been upset. My my Twitch dashboard, I think, has been broken, so I can never actually see hosts anymore. Huh. I haven't actually been able to do it like on Base Trade or my channel or anything. Like it just always lists nothing under hosts.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for me right now too. I just saw that with the bot.
Yeah.
I guess it's broken for a lot of people probably.
Maybe. Well, Widowmine drop comes in, and Widowmine does barely get picked off right before it manages to burrow.
It's kind of unfortunate. It's like this usually isn't a super big deal whether or not the Widowmine gets damage done and the Marines start killing a bunch of drones. But when you have the record going against you and that last game did not look very good at all, the lack of any damage just never feels very good, right? Like if this was Alive and he was like, oh, I beat Hydra like 50-50, like you wouldn't care that a Widowmine got picked off, but I feel like it's like a morale thing. Okay, Tank has come back. Yeah.
The Zerglings run in and kill off one worker and just run out. A little bit cute how that works out. But Zerglings do manage to make it out of there alive. And that's going to be kind of nice just because I think he's going to have to deal with more of this sort of drop harassment. And if Hydra continues to do as good of a job as he did defending against that Widowmine drop, then KeeN is actually going to start to feel like he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
So there's two options we've been seeing. So the main one is to go through the middle of the map with the tank push and just rally tanks in and, obviously abuse the choke. The other option that seems to be used more and more lately is to take advantage of this high ground, low ground, where the Marines will actually just be able to poke at the hatchery so often and retreat so often, they could actually kill it in an ideal world for KeeN.
Yeah. Almost manages to get the queen, but unfortunately for him, Transfuse does manage to save the queen.
Oh. That was weird. I don't know why he picked up the tank. It wasn't any high ground vision.
Because he can, Zombie Grub, because he can.
Yeah, it was just like a reaction. Well, oh well. Yeah. KeeN did go for a lot more production initially and then a third base, but he is getting to a third base. This is not all in, but this definitely didn't do as much damage as it could have, I think. Like, we've seen that
yeah.
exact same push. Well, yeah, certainly as he wanted to. We've seen that exact same push actually just confuse and befuddle a Zerg opponent because they're really scared of a tank on, you know, the lack of high ground vision, but I just kind of push it away easily.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like with a lot of confidence, you know, being able to push back the Marines without getting into the siege tank range with just 2 queens and like 3 or 4 roaches, throws down a transfusing the queens. Like, yeah, you're actually not going to kill anything here. And then, yeah, dealing with the siege tank just fine with a Roach Ravager. And he had a couple units still on the low ground, making sure that the units didn't just transfer down to the creep side. But, well, KeeN, he's still building up an army, so he's definitely not too far behind. It's just, it sucks when you're not actually accomplishing a whole lot with this harassment. And even your 3rd expansion is coming down, like, maybe not as early as some Terran players like to get on this map.
The Tunneling Claws is very interesting. We actually saw this from Sulky, I think, last week, where, especially if your opponent's going for a lot of tanks instead of pure bio, for instance, you know, getting underneath those tanks when they think they're in a perfectly good defensive position suddenly changes the odds in your favor, basically, because you actually get under the tanks, you kill them really quickly before they even notice, and then you come in with the rest of your Roach Ravager attack, and it can actually do tons of damage, game ending damage, in fact. But first, he has to deal with this push. I'm pretty fine with it.
Yeah, Hydra getting a very nice concave, forcing the lift off and forcing the retreat out of KeeN. KeeN is very adamant about going in with these roaches, or sorry, these siege tanks, but he's gonna get caught off guard by the burrowed roaches. And looks like Hydra's gonna pretty much storm on through, although the siege tanks in the back are still doing some good damage. Oh.
That was a bit overzealous. Once Hydra lost his roaches, Ravagers are very easy to kill.
Yeah. Well, he's actually still just gunning down, stimming and running forward, and he's getting some good trades here.
Yeah, Hydra might have made a mistake. Again, being just a little bit overzealous, running into tanks, running into the Marines. Combat Shield did only just finish, by the way, so that really was almost a perfect timing for Hydra. Just not quite enough units, and this might be it. The steamroll effect is kind of showing itself here as he has production. It's just coming in different parts one at a time.
Yeah, Corrosive Bile does land on a lot of the Marines, but it's not quite enough. Being able to kill off a siege tank would be nice, but a nice pickup from KeeN. I think that KeeN might actually be able to take his second win in a tournament setting over Hydra.
Yeah. With that, I mean, I love the choice for Arena then. That worked out, I think, exactly as KeeN would have hoped.
Yeah. I'm just really surprised because, again, like, I think it's what we were talking about. A lot of things just didn't seem to be going, not like terribly for KeeN, but it just didn't seem to be going super well for KeeN. And then, like, just that last little bit, like Hydra overcommitting through that choke point after losing the roaches and then starts to lose some of his Ravagers, like, that just turned the game around on its head. I think we're going to go to a short little break, though, while we get ready to hop into game number 3. So we'll see you guys on map number 3, whatever it ends up being. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It's the ace match. So get your ace matches out in the chat as we spawn down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. The blue Terran player from Africa Freaks. Give it up for KeeN.
In the top right, as the red Zerg, he is Hydra.
I think someone in the chat was remarking about how your microphone quality is not as good as it usually is, and I think that's just because, oddly enough, Zoom microphone quality was better than the Skype microphone quality, except that it just kept going up and down and up and down. But your Skype microphone quality, it's not like terrible, it's just like not as good as it usually is.
Skype's 50-50, because usually what happens is Rifkin's mic to me doesn't sound as good as it ever does on stream, but I guess at least I sound good to stream, which is the most important.
Yeah.
But I guess with our call, it's they flipped, which is a little worse. Because you sound golden, much better than Rifkin does usually.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I don't. Oh well.
Oh. Well, regardless, hopefully you guys don't mind it too much. I think that for the most part, audio quality is definitely not too bad. It's only if you really pay attention to it, or if I really spend a lot of time and a lot of effort pointing out the fact that this is the case. So you're welcome, chat.
Way to go. Well, last game, great for KeeN. That aggression really worked out. But this is another macro map that Hydra can very easily get to 3/4 bases and take it to Ultralisk, which KeeN obviously had a very difficult time stopping.
Yeah, and I would even say, like, and argue in that last game, yeah, he did eventually manage to push on through, but again, it had a lot to do with the fact that Hydra pushed really, really far into that choke point, and I think, as you were saying, like, overcommitting a little bit. But all of his earlier aggression, all of the attempts for drop harass and everything, it really didn't do a whole lot. So what is KeeN's kind of hope over here? You can't really pin your hopes on saying, I hope my opponent overcommits again to some engagement.
Yeah, it would be especially hard pressed on a map like this, I guess, where it's just there's usually have the same timing. You know, it's always the Terran pushes out when they have everything ready to go on a big map like this, not when they think they can reinforce and buy enough time. Because Hydra saw an opportunity without combat shields probably, and that's what made him so confident to push in. That probably won't happen on Dusk Towers, where Hydra's going to be pretty defensive and just like, don't come near my 4th base, and I'll wait for you to come, and, you know, that'll be fine for me. And KeeN will, of course, want to always have combat shields before he pushes so far away from his main base.
Yeah. Well, big shout out to JazzThing SC2. Thank you so much for the 9-month resub. Oh my god. That's pretty awesome. That would actually put it like what? Sorry, I like recently read a study showing like the rate of births at different times in the year. And it's actually apparently really, really popular to have a birth around like September, August, October. So people getting busy around Christmas time. Yeah,
the holidays and winter, you know, just want to stay inside and do some things.
You'd think it would be like around Valentine's Day or something.
People go out for Valentine's Day and then they come back. But for winter, everyone just stays inside all the time. Duh.
That's true. You have nothing better to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's probably the same thing with the subs.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, this is
it's too cold outside. I'm gonna sit inside and watch BaseTradeTV.
As funny as that we're making a joke, I mean, when you consider that December, January is the drought time for big tournaments, and that's what we usually fill.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, most of our tournaments came from like the February Lima League, right?
Yeah. Well, we do have a bit of harassment coming out from KeeN. Unfortunately, he has to sacrifice the Reaper, but I mean, it's just because there's no more medevac space left over. KeeN's still looking to try and get something done. He's managed to kill off like an Overlord with this drop, but that's pretty much it so far. So again, we're really looking to see if KeeN can make something happen, not necessarily just with the early harassment with the drops and everything, but even with the big push in later that he wasn't able to make happen in game number 1, and honestly for a majority of game number 2.
Yeah. Fortunately, Liberator goes down without doing very much. You would like that thing just be floating around, basically. Whether or not it's actually doing anything is another issue. Queen almost goes down. Oh, Widowmine actually.
Oh!
Whoa, that was a reach, man. I've never seen Widowmine reach that far.
Yeah, that was like a 10-kill Widowmine, too.
That was really nice. Ravager probably should have died his own Corsair Gear. I'm calling BS on that one. Oh, well. But of course, Hydra pushes that back. He's only a little bit of aggression. He feels very confident, getting a 4th base. KeeN, already on his 3rd, has everything timed out nicely, as he did on Invader. But they gotta wait for the push and see what that does.
Yeah. 4th, I mean, definitely going up a lot earlier on than any of the previous games, just because it's a little bit easier to do on Dusk Towers, as you were saying. It's a macro-oriented map. Ravager should be here in time to help deal with this, and the Widowmine is derping around and just like, I'm gonna burrow on top. No, I'm not gonna engage into that. Ends up having to retreat on out.
Yep. Infestation Pit already on the way is very scary, but KeeN, I think.
Oh my god.
Well, Hydra anyway.
Yeah.
KeeN's build is just a little bit faster because he didn't go for Banshee, I believe. He went for a Liberator, so maybe it's around the same time. I don't know, the second factory is what I'm looking at. That seems like it was a lot faster than the game on Invader. And maybe his 3rd just came down faster or more securely, or maybe got the gases faster, I don't know. But the fact that the second factory comes down earlier means that tank count can start rising a lot earlier, so by the time Ultras are out, maybe there is that 10 count. And there are a couple of spots on Dusk Towers that can really be useful for tank pushes.
Yeah. One of the drops on the south side of the map does get picked off, and it looks like Hydra finds the other one, or the Ravager's going to be able to land the Corsair Gear on top of it. Looks like not quite, but he should be able to at least force a pickup, if not force his army back.
He would have lost those 2 Ravagers. In fact, he still will, because the other drop has landed.
Oh!
In the, there we go. Just it came from behind, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know if he meant to do that, but it worked out. And now he has a very large force to try and get that 4th base. The rest of Hydra's army is already here, though. It's not really big, though. Like, it's the Infestors are the scariest part.
Yeah, he does actually have 2 fungal growths available right now. These Infestors have enough energy, and the Spine Crawler are also going to help just push this army back, zone it out a little bit, and also just buy time. Ultralisk Cavern gets started up behind all of this, but I mean, still, he's got to buy time, not just for the Ultralisk Cavern, not just for the Ultralisk to come out, but also Chitinous Plating to finish up.
This game is looking better than on Invader, but KeeN is still getting pushed back for now. Creep spread still hasn't really been cleaned up. I love that he actually takes the time to scan for that. Focus fire the live ones.
Yeah, I'm really not liking how far behind 2-2 is, though, for KeeN right now. Because with 2-2 finishing up soon for Hydra and the Ultra's going to be coming out, that's like worse than the usual chitinous plating situation.
Yeah, KeeN finished his armory like at least 45 seconds ago, and that should have been 2-2 right after. So this is actually getting worse and worse. It's no longer very surprising to see 2-2 so far ahead for
the
Siege
Shanks.
Oh no, not the tanks too. Oh, the Medivacs. At least most of the tanks.
Well, he only gets 1 Medivac. Oh, misses the second fungal too.
KeeN got so lucky right there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, Zergan's looking for a potential big run by to try and buy a little bit more time, but the Infestors, one of them ends up going down. Other one is going to have enough energy for another fungal growth pretty soon, but I mean, 1 fungal growth, not nearly as scary as the situation before. These Zergans have got to do a lot.
Tank pops out and there's reinforcements coming out, no problem.
But
so
KeeN pulls back.
See, I think that's the reason he pulled back, like, in a couple other situations, is just that the counterattacks are being dealt with, but they're splitting his focus, and he doesn't want to run in, not pings from his army when there's Infestors and Corrosive Vials out. So
I feel like that's the time that Hydra needed, because now Chitinous Plating is going to finish up just in the nick of time for this. And look at this. We even got Hydra come in with another Zergling run by to this 4th expansion, going to pull this army out of this kind of nice concave setup.
Oh, that's not enough tanks either, and they're not in a very good position. Plating isn't done. That was actually a mistake from Hydra, as his ultras just go down super quickly. Oh my god, actually, I really wish that KeeN had started to just run after them. The Infestors were all out of energy. There's only 1 left, and Chitinous Plating is still 5 seconds to finish. He could have gotten 1, maybe 2 other ultras had he stemmed forward. That retreat was probably the worst retreat so far from KeeN.
I think it's hard, though, because you're just seeing ultras, and you're like, oh god, he's charging in. Chitinous Plating must have finished up. You don't really have time to react and click on the ultras to double check. You're just trying to split the hell out of there, but ultras do have it finished up now, and guess what? It's 2-2 ultralists with Chitinous Plating versus 1-1 bio. They're just not gonna die.
Yes, the 1-1 is such a problem. KeeN has really just forgotten his 2-2. But I was gonna say, this is the position where tanks really look good. Oh, did he lose the...
You lost it.
Oh, well. Okay, well, that's... So no upgrades and no 4th base means that KeeN is not looking so hot. But at least Hydra made a couple of, engagement mistakes. Still doesn't add up, I think, though. Like, KeeN's in a bad position.
I mean, yeah, just the numbers themselves, as you were saying, like, they don't add up. It's a 60 supply lead right now for Hydra, who is now sitting maxed out, has a 5th expansion up, where his opponent just lost his 4th. Things are really looking pretty grim. Maybe KeeN can just hold on and hold a defensive position long enough. If he can establish his 4th expansion with some good Liberator siege ups, some good siege tank shots, maybe he can just bring this until, like, he's almost maxed out. I think that's probably his best hope.
Yeah, even if he's maxed out, though, he's not going to have the upgrades at all. Hydra's going to be 2-2 ahead of him. Hydra already making his way to Broodlords as well, something that KeeN can't really react to super well, and everything just looks so bad. And Hydra's going to push in and probably win with this army. I mean... Yeah. It's a pretty defensive setup, but it's just so much.
Even without 3-3 about to finish up, I mean, 3-3 is so close, but he engages, like... He's actually going to disengage the moment that 3-3 finishes up, which is a little bit awkward. I mean, that was a pretty decent-ish trade for KeeN, all things considered, but he's got to make a lot happen with his drop on the other side of the map if he wants to try and bring this game back.
Not a lot of lings get over here too quickly, so it looks like he will be getting this base. Hydra already on to another, however, won't be losing too many drones as they transfer away. It does pull Hydra's army back, which is something. Fungal should be coming down. Oh, Jesus.
Oh boy, that's painful.
Yeah. Gets a couple of his ultras with it, but oh well. They'll be healed up. Got a Nidus Storm on the way as well, just to complicate matters further for KeeN.
That's actually just dirty. There's been an Overseer sitting in the natural expansion for a while now, just because, I mean, when you're afraid about the big attack coming in and killing you, you're not really worried about the one Overseer that's sitting in your natural, but that is going to come back to bite him in the butt. And I don't even think that KeeN is aware of it right now. He's not paying attention. He stims up his army. He's finally aware of it, but what's he going to do about it?
Lings are going to try and pop out here, and he's not focusing the Nidus either. That's a mistake, but it is just Lings. 3-3
yeah.
on Lings, mind
no
you.
Ultras
so
in the
they're
mix.
do a pretty good job.
And it's actually
yeah, one
not
Ultra would have probably been pretty good. That didn't go so well.
Wow.
Tanks can be really good. Liberator's obviously not going down quick enough either, or doing a lot of damage to the Ultras.
Oh.
And Hydra is really throwing away his army.
Yeah, the command center barely managed to survive. It lifts it up at the very last second, using it as a bit of a blocker to trying to secure a nice position. But KeeN he's not trading out perfectly, but he's trading out better than I think he could have asked for.
Yeah. Hydra probably just kind of want to get the game over with, figuring that he's in a very winning position, and he still is. But, you know, they have a secret base, they actually have 30 more army supply, and suddenly Hydra's made a huge mistake in the overcommittal. I think one of the biggest problems, though, is that even as KeeN gets his ghost up, you know, on his very bad economy, and gets a higher Liberator count, the problem for Terran is always pushing out, you know? Like, they can have really good turtle games and, you know, make a Zerg cry all day with that, but they can't really push out into the middle of the map very well.
This is just dirty. Going for the Corruptors because Hydra has the resources. Yeah. GG gets called. I was gonna say Hydra has the resources to make those Corruptors literally just focus fire down every single Medevac and Liberator and then lose all the Corruptors and still remax again.
Well, GG. KeeN does go down 2-1. At least he has another map score.
Yeah,
against
he's doubled the number of maps he's taken off of Hydra.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Self-esteem boost right there. But we're not going to get to the semifinals. Hydra will go on to face Bly, and Alive will go on to face Mana. That's what we're going to get into because they've been waiting the longest. And we'll get into that after this break.
See you guys soon.